Everyone, so last week I did my first ever vlog of what I do sewing. So I thought I would keep continuing it. I don't obviously do just sewing as I'm cosplaying, so it's also other stuff, but my sewing is what I obviously do to start the costumes. And since Comic Con London October is coming up, I obviously am making the costumes first. So my big thing right now is I'm making my first ever corset, which is what a lot of the clips from my last video were. I'm hoping to get the lining finished today, as I have 7 out of the 10 boning channels sewn that came on the pattern. But obviously to fit my shape I've made different adjustments. Obviously, like making some panels bigger, some panels different. I've had to do little angles and bits to change it, so there is a possibility that I will have to put more boning channels in. So what I'm using is this 1 centimeter wide plastic boning. This is my first time using this, as normally I use this webbing one, and what it is, it's about 4 strips of very, very thin plastic covered in a fabric, pretty much. And it means that you can sew this directly into a costume, either along the edges or in between the plastic, to add a lot of stability. But this is only used mostly in things that just need a minor, so that it doesn't crease and bunch up. It doesn't actually add any strong stability, hence why I'm trying out this. So yeah, I've got it here, 7 of the 10 boning channels done, like I said, and I've stitched at least twice over each of the lines for the boning channel, just to add some more stability. No, it's not in this colour, it's white corset, but because the fabric is so opaque you can't see through it, I just went through my stash and used some remnants I had from other projects to make the panels. So that's that. So I'm going to switch my phone over to a different angle to show you what else I'm working on for the rest of this video, okay? Hey, so I've changed the angle. I did forget to say in the other intro that it is Thursday the 22nd today. I'm hoping to go from Thursday to Thursday, but my dad mentioned possibly us going London at the weekend, so that's 1 day less sewing along with us, so we'll see how it goes. But so I said, this is my main thing, is to just get the last 3 boning channels sewn today. This is, like I said, the outside. You can see all the chalk marks. It still needs to be washed to get rid of all of that, but this is what the outside and lining layer of the corset is made from. Other thing I'm working on, which I'm gonna, as soon as I finish the boning channels, I'm gonna quickly sew this before I change my thread colour. This is a mock-up of McCall's M885 by Angela Clayton. I'm using the bodice of this to do the base of Sleeping Beauty, and given how well it has actually fit me, I am possibly using this for Snow White now as well. Going from Snow White, I found my Snow White skirt. This is actually, as I said in my previous video, the 5th time I've made this skirt, and it's the only time I'm actually happy with it. So I've actually now, only sewing wise construction, got the hem left to do, which is a bit uneven. Obviously cutting and cutting and picking the fabric multiple times. Some bits of it were damaged, which is why, like, there's not meant to be, but there's a seam here in this fabric. But this is going to be my hand sewing project until I start the Sleeping Beauty bodice, which is going to have a lot of beadings and lace and everything on it. But this is for the next 2 or 3 weeks at least to do while I can't use my machine due to noise. This is just the first one I put on just as a test. These like chandelier pieces, I've got a whole bag of about 50 of them to sew on to the hem here, along with a load of beads. I haven't rushed doing this because it's not for a set convention. Especially since before I didn't have the bodice, I wanted for it as my original one that I made from scratch kept having fails, so I kept scrapping it, and that was one of the reasons that project hasn't been worked on since. So let's get back to what we've got at. So this is my potion dress. It's inside out obviously because I've got to sew it, but it's made from a fabric which is the Advanced Potion Making book. Now I do think I have one more square somewhere which I'm going to try and find to make the sleeves of this. Otherwise, when I put binding around the neck, I'm just going to put binding around the whole thing. But this is the extra panel I've put in. It's made the dress, like I said, slightly too big, but I'm going to be spending, while I'm wearing this, several hours in a car, as well as just walking around the studio. So if I do decide to take it in at a later date, I will, but it fits nice for now. It's not huge and baggy, just slightly loose, so it might stay like that. And then these are the 3 panels of the same fabric, which are going to make up the skirt. So as soon as I finish the corset, so I'm going to sew the last 2 seams on this, which is just the sides and that. I already know I've got to make some changes to the armhole part, and that looks alright. So these are just rectangles that I'm then going to sew together. I do plan on putting some pockets in, but because of it being 3 panels instead of 1 whole thing or even panels, I need to obviously make the dress first, then work out where the sides are to cut for the pockets to be put in. So that's a later thing, but I don't definitely need it for then, but I can. So I'm hoping to get all this sewn together and the panel sewn in tonight so that I can start gathering. And then the other thing is, when I was working out all of this, I also had some other of the purple fabric. This is what was originally the skirt, but I only had 2 panels. And since I can only make 2 panels using this fabric, which is a really nice but Japanese cherry blossoms in pinks and purples with butterflies, I swapped over the panels so that the 2 panels that originally the skirt for this. So it's that. I've got the waistband for that, but I do need to go through my stash and find a black fabric to be the inside. And for all of that, I only had little scraps of fabric left. So I've got these rows which were cut off the original skirt because it was a bit longer, which I'm going to make into hairbands, which are always something useful to have in my house. And then the rest of that has gone to make a bow to match the skirt. I do have a couple of other things in here my to do, which I'll mostly just repair though, so they're not I need to do that now. So I will get on with sewing then. Okay, so I thought I'd give a quick rundown of yesterday and how everything went. So I did end up getting, so that's that, all the bone channels for this sew. So the next step is marking and cutting all the boning channels. I did also get all the skirt panels for the potions dress done. And the potions dress, I got the stomach panel sewn in. And then the last thing is that I got all the parts for the bow made as well. So my next task for today first. Oh, I also got all the mock-up done. As I said, I knew I'd have to make the armholes bigger, but it also doesn't fit. It's a bit too small, which I thought might happen. I have slightly broader shoulders, so what I'm going to do is just about 5 to 10 centimeters. I've decided to set panels onto the edge, put the zip in, and then I can put it in inside out and take in bit by bit at the sides to get what fit I need. Obviously then when it fits I can judge. I do think I need to take down the bust line just a little, but I also need to take into account what it'll be like after it's obviously sewn, and I do want to possibly add some length to the bottom as well, so we will see how that goes. First task of the day, while I've still got the machine set up, is I'm going to sew the panels for the black and purple skirt, and then these, which are the leftover strips, going to be making into hairbands. So because I've got the purple threads set up on my machine, I'm going to do all that first, and then depending on how I feel, see where we go from there, how much else I can get done tonight. Okay, so update, it is Saturday. I didn't end up doing any filming yesterday, but I did actually get a lot done. The bodice is now sewn in. All the skirt panels are sewn together for the dress and for this one, and also all the parts of the bow. What's on the machine is the last of the 4 Hess scrunchies that I'm making from the leftovers, and then I got all the boning channels sewn. I currently have 4 of the 10 boning channels inserted. So what I've been doing is just taking this, putting it in the boning channel, marking off where it ends, which you can see a slight line here, marking it off, taking it out, and then taking 3 centimeters off it, and then curving the edges, if I can get one out, like that, so that there are no sharp edges, and then just inserting them, and then that gives me enough room for when I'm sewing the bias binding on both the top and the bottom. And then yesterday, and what will probably be this evening's project, was sewing on a load of the little chandelier pieces. So I have marked the front half off, obviously, and then they'll be all the same distance, and then at the back where you're not going to see as much, I'm doing a wider gap. And I do actually have it with me now, my beading. This is one of my little project boxes that I have. This doesn't matter, unfortunately a load of the beads got mixed in from like transport, but these are all the golds, yellows, and some clear beads that I have to go on my Snow White project. And as I said, it's all football on this afternoon, so I'm going to have a lot of hand sewing to do, so I'm going to do some of this and the gathering for my potion skirt. I am not going to the convention now, as when we looked at it, a lot of the stuff, it's mostly for the shopping. The big thing is like theatre, but it's all things I can watch at home anyway. They're like Pokemon, House and Castle, which I love, but there's no point me spending that much money to go and just watch that. And a lot of the question answering, I can't actually find who it is like at these talks, so there's no point me going and then not liking it. And that was next Sunday in London. So we are doing a family trip, going to London tomorrow. So we're going like Brick Lane in the morning, and then just general, depending on what time we finish, going around London for the rest of the day kind of thing. So I will have updates of posting during the day, and then probably little bits over the next week of if I buy anything and such. Okay, so apologise if I don't sound my best. I did end up going to London with my family yesterday, and it ends up taking a very lot out of me. I am actually usually bedridden off this, so I'm surprised I'm actually up anyway. But it was a lot lighter day than normal. I will have in between sewing stuff videos of everything on my TikTok and Instagram, and I will have the haul video I'm about to film up of everything I got while I was there, and then separate opening videos as well. And I find it actually a lot quicker to just do the hand sewing, because it takes so long to delicately scrunch up it if it is through the machine. So I just do it by hand. I think it takes me about half an hour per meter right now, just because I'm obviously making sure all my stitches are even and such like. So yeah, I'm going to film all my openings. So I don't know how much footage is going to be over the next day or two. It depends how much hand sewing I get done. So we will probably extend the what was the week, as I said, to a bit longer, because everything I'm doing right now is going to take a lot more time. So we'll see how we go from there. Okay, so I'm going to be tidying this all up in a sec, but from the update I done when I got all the boning channels cut and into the corset, I do still have about half of it left. So along the front and back, I'm going to definitely try and put at least one more boning channel in different sections, just to add some more stability. So yeah, so the corset is definitely coming along. I am hoping to have all the boning channels sorted out. Put the machine away for now though. I did manage to get, there we go, yep, all of the little crystals sewn onto the Snow White skirt. I didn't have as many as I thought. I have one left after sewing them all around, and that included me making the front half of it, had them every 7 centimeters. The sides was 8, 8, 9 and then 10, and then the back was every 13 centimeters, and I have one left. And I was going to put that at the front because the front piece of the skirt is a lot higher, but I thought I'd save that one and put it on the corset to help like incorporate the two together. So I put it up against my waist again, and by the look of it, because this is a salvage edge, all I'm going to have to do is fold it in literally just by that, which will go under my foot at the exact size, and that should fit with my shoes on. It will be literally just above the floor by about 2 centimeters, which means that when I'm walking it won't catch anything, so that's good. I don't know where one of them's gone. I think I've put it in the box that I'm keeping all my current work on. I've got all the scrunchies sewn together, and the elastic inserted, so I just need to sew up the raw edge. I got today all the panels for my potions dress gathered together. So that's the potions just there. My next thing is to pin the skirt onto the bodice, and possibly try and get it sewn on tonight. We'll see how that goes. One thing I might do, because I've got to reset the machine up, because I had to put it away, obviously, to get the table for filming and other stuff I was doing. I will try and get the bias binding and the bony channels done and just get everything sewn, because you can't see the inner lining for the bony channels. Doesn't matter what colour the thread is, so I can just use the same thread and get that done. Okay, so just doing a quick little clip. Have tried this on. It does need some more stability, and since I do still have, I think, about half of the boning left, I'm going to start by adding some more just along here and like the front panels here. What I'm going to do here, because I want this bit more stability, but I don't want the full cageness, I'm going to yeah, because I don't want the complete rigidity of that, I'm going to sew the webbing here on here, well, on the other side, sew some of the webbing in just to help give a bit of stability right around the centre without causing any shape shift to it. So I'm going to start marking out the new boning channels that I'm going to sew on. Okay, so I have all the new boning channels marked one on either side here, one here, and then one here for each of both sides. So that is 2, 4, 6, 8 new channels to sew. I think that will use up all the boning I've got left, but we will see how it goes from there. Okay everyone, so been a little lackluster in the filming, mostly because I haven't got much done. I think the last time I did a proper talk was when I said about how I'd gone London on Sunday. So obviously that Monday I wasn't up for doing much either because of that. Then Tuesday and Wednesday I got some done. The skirt of my potions dress sewn on. I can't find my bias binding, so I'm going to have another look for it. But I have got, if I still can't find it by today, because I do need this in a couple of days, I've got some purple ribbon that matches this colour that I'll use for the binding. But I was a bit delayed, as while I was sewing the skirt on, I ended up breaking my last 2 needles, which of course that happens when you don't want it to the most. So I had to order some needles in, luckily for Amazon. So they arrived today, hence why I managed to finish sewing on the skirt. So next thing I'm going to do is hem this, and luckily it's just going to be a quick, the size of my foot, fold it over, sew, and then fold it over a second time, all nice and quick. That will take me I think about 20 minutes, as long as I don't have any problems with my machine. And then I got the extra boning channels for my corset all marked off. So I'm going to add those in. And then, like I said, I am going to use some webbing pieces along here as well. I don't think I need to add any more. Like I said, and have been saying, this isn't waist reduction, it's just straightening. So it's Friday the 30th, so like I said, I am doing longer than a week this time due to more than half the days me not being up to it, or because my machine wasn't working, being able to sew. So yeah, I'm gonna finish setting up my machine because I moved it out the way to do this. So put it all back, hem the skirt and get the boning channels sewn today. And because it doesn't take too long, I'm hoping to also get the boning cut and into the corset. Okay, so I've set up on the ironing board right now. I finished like what I was going to do. So what it is, I have, here it is, this full rectangle here. So what this is going to do is I'm going to iron it out now so it's all right. This is going to be cut in half and act as a part cap sleeve of the armholes, because it is ironically 1 centimetre too small to fit perfectly round, so it's about 3 centimetres too small with seam allowance and such like. So it's not going to be a complete sleeve, but pretty much nearly one. And then what I'm going to do is take this, which was the end, this is also going to be ironed, cut in half to make a hairband, mostly because when I'm going to be in the car for a lot of time and walking around, I don't want too fancy a hairstyle. I normally put my hair in either just a ponytail or a plait or something. So I thought I'd just use this because it is just going to be a scrap that's too small for pretty much anything but a hairband. So that's going to be the hairband that I wear this outfit. And then I'm going to hem this in the purple ribbon, which means it will match me binding the top of this as well. So yeah, I'm going to iron out these pieces and iron out the hem because it's a little bit wrinkly, but it looks really neat. And the length of it fits perfectly. It comes to just above my knees, which is what I was hoping for. So that's all good. So I will get on with that then. Okay, so spent most of today doing the sewing. So all my machine work is now done on this dress. Only thing I have left to do is sew this down, but because it is a bit thin, I'm going to have to do it by hand, but that should take me about an hour or so. And then on the sleeve, this is all. So then the only thing I've got to do is, same as with the neck, is whip stitch this little bit down, which is the rest of the seam allowance for the sleeves. But I've had dinner and everything, so this is the last thing I've got to do. Going, like I said, to Harry Potter wearing this. We are planning on leaving the house at about 9:30 in the morning. It's going to take us about an hour and a half, 2 hours to get there. We were then planning on going around to the cafe area and having tea and muffin and such. And then depending on how long we've got, we were going to possibly go in the shop before we go to the tour, just so like put everything in the car after, but just go in to have a look at the very least, if not shopping, because obviously my mum's in a wheelchair. It's going to take us a lot longer than normal to go through everything. And I think when I went about a year and a half ago, or possibly 2 years ago now, it was I think it took us 4.5 hours, but we'll be having dinner there as well, so it could possibly take us 7 hours or so to get through everything. We're hoping, because school would have just started back up, which is why we picked this day. It's the last day of was basically the Prisoner of Azkaban celebration, so the divinations and such. It's the last day, but school is starting for most schools on that Monday, so we are hoping that means that there's going to be a lot less people there, so we might get through in time. We'll have a look. So this dress is nearly done, and I'm hoping to get it done tonight. Only thing I've got to do after it's washed is obviously check through all the seams and cut off any of the scraggly little threads that come from machine sewing, like here. Just cut those off and such. But apart from that, the main part of the dress and everything is done. So which means that my next major thing to start working on is my corset, because I have, oh God, I think it's 7 weeks now to Comic-Con, so I need to get that corset done so that I can start working on all my other projects for that convention. But I will see everyone later then. Okay, so I have a just a quick update. So the new boning channels that I was adding, they have now all been sewn with the same double seam. So just going over them twice just to reinforce them. So all the 10 new boning channels I put in have been sewn up, as you can see, cut, rounded, and put the boning channel in. The next thing I'm doing is using the webbing boning to just sew some a little bit extra in just areas where you need a slight bend, but well, you need some stability, but a slight bend that the solid plastic won't give. Only downside is because of how this is, you see the needle sticking up there, I have to use pliers to help force it through. So it's that, but that is done, and well, not done, that's being done. So I've got that to add. My potions dress is now completely done. It is in the washing bin right now, just to go in a load so that it's nice and clean for Wednesday. And I said that because of how well this is going, I'm hoping to get the rest of the boning put in today. And then going to put it against my body just to make sure it all fits with the outer layers pinned on, so that I can then mark where the fold needs to go for the zip. But if everything goes well, I should hopefully have this done by what's going to be the end of this video, which is Tuesday. I said what I'll do is I've got about 3-4 hours in the car to get to Harry Potter on Wednesday, so I'm going to do my editing then for it, and hopefully post that Wednesday evening, and then that way from Thursday, while I'm in bed recovering, I can do a load of editing for that, and I've got some hand sewing I can do, but that means when I recover, probably Friday or Saturday, when I'll start doing my third one, I'm going to start working on Sleeping Beauty, because this was the only hold up. I wanted to make sure the corset was done, as this is the base layer, and I'm going to be wearing, depending on how warm it is, either a proper chemise that I've made, making, or I'm going to just have a vest up on there, just so the corset isn't completely touching my skin, as is actually historically correct to do. So yeah, the goal is to get all the boning channels for this done today, so that the corset can hopefully be finished making either tomorrow or Tuesday, and then that way next week, and like I said, the next video will be completely starting on Sleeping Beauty, which I'm hoping it shouldn't take too much, mostly because the mock-up is all sent together. I've just got to do some slight fittings for my back, which I'm hoping won't take an hour or two to do. But as soon as that's done, I can then start making the proper version, which I've got all the fabric for. And then only thing I've actually got to buy for it is I want to look at some lace, either in like a light blue to match it, or I was thinking to try and reinforce the pink along the bottom, a pale pink there with blue everywhere else, but we will see how that goes. Mostly because when I'm looking, I haven't found anything that's at for me an acceptable price point that looks good, so that would be a check-in for that. But yeah, I'm all coming along, so we'll go from there then. Okay, so it's Monday. Tomorrow's going to be the last day of me filming. I forgot that because of it being a coil, the boning is very distorted. So I've had to, a couple of times, just iron each boning to flatten it out. Because you have to do it a couple of times. So obviously you have to iron the whole course out, which takes about 10 minutes. Leave it to cool, and then do that a couple of times. So what I thought was going to be a quick just start pinning it all together and hopefully get it done took over an hour of just ironing out the boning channels. And since I had the iron out, I ironed the outer layer as well as the lining. It is already a bit late, but hopefully sewing the bone shouldn't take too long, so I'm literally just going to start pinning everything together. And because it's not going to be seen, I'm using this brown binding out just because it's what I've got on hand, and I'd rather keep my white for something you are going to see. So the whole top pinned together tonight. Hey everyone, so just doing a wrap up. It is Thursday the 5th. I went to Harry Potter yesterday, so I'm not at my best, unfortunately. As you can see here, the corset, which I had hoped to have finished, hasn't. I started having some problems with my machine. It is an easy fix, but it requires me to get like all the screwdrivers out and take different bits apart. I obviously didn't want to do that the day before I went Harry Potter, because I knew I had to put it back together, and I didn't want it just sitting out for at least a day, if not two, before I was able to start putting everything back together. Of course, it is all pinned together, and I do have the bias button. I apologise for the noise, that's Bailey running in the background. You will notice I will say that there is some slight little gaps throughout the video. that is where I was trying to cut out a lot of me going So as many times as you have noticed during the video me saying that, I've cut probably half of them out and only cut out the ones that I couldn't, because it was literally just a few seconds in between something, and my editing wouldn't let me cut such a small amount out without cutting something else. So no, I haven't gotten better with it. It's just I've managed to cut some of them out. So as I said, the ending of this, I'm going to be spending Friday filming all my stuff for the haul for Harry Potter, and editing a load of the videos and photos I took. I am hoping to get back to my sewing Saturday. And as I said, the corset is all along the top pinned together. It does match up as well. So it is just a case of I'm going to sew tacking stitch on the machine along the top layer. Just to hold it all together, then sew the binding end. And then I've just got to do the same for the bottom. One of the reasons it did take as long as well, I pinned the 2 inner layers to one of the outer layers, and obviously pulling it stretched to make sure that all the curves of the corset. Took me about 45 minutes just to realise I'd only pinned one of the layers of the outside, so I had to go back and repin the whole thing. So that took about 3 hours on its own in the end. A couple of problems with my machine that I'm going to be fixing hopefully today after I've done a load of filming, so that I can on Saturday just get back to completely sewing. First thing I will do, like I said, is finish my corset, and then we can start working on Comic-Con, which is good because that is about a month and a half away. And right now all I have is Emily that I made during May Comic-Con, but things such as the wings need fixing, and I want to glue more feathers on to make it look better. And I also wanted to take apart some of more of the I used bed sheets to make it, so it had this like intricate not braid but kind of top piece to make a pattern over the top, and I cut on the sleeves 2 holes around that to show a dark blue peeking through, and I decided that I wanted to do more of that, and that I'd done it on the bodice as well, but it had a white lining. I was going to put white, silver and blue beads beading through it. But as I decided to make that costume only about 2.5, 3 weeks before Comic-Con, because I was having so many problems with my original idea, which I ended up having to scrap, which was a Rosalina from Mario. So it wasn't my absolute best work, but I did like it, and obviously I do want to wear it again, but I want to do some changes just to make it even better. And I'm hoping the fit looks even nicer with a corset underneath it, just to straighten all the lines out a bit more. So that is the end of this video. So I will obviously post this. I'm hoping to do all the editing and post this on Monday, which is the 9th. So I'm hoping this is when it's going up. So we will see how that goes. And then I'm, like I said, depending on how fast I get back into sewing, I'm hoping to start doing it on Saturday. So I might be starting sewing from the Saturday. We'll see how that goes. I do enjoy these videos. It's just, it can take me several hours to do all the editing. I know this video, I've edited half of the footage, which was about 4 hours, down to half an hour with speed ups and cutting out a load of the ums. So we will see how the whole video goes. I am aiming to try and get between half an hour to an hour video. And as I said, obviously not going to be a week every time. It depends how much I get done or what's going on at the time. So I will see everyone later then.